Gaming is changing forever, guys. We are living through a giant shift in gaming. And this is kind of what I've been talking about. And there's going to be some things that you like up front about this. There's going to be some things that as an Xbox fan, you're like, wait a minute, this has never worked that way. This is one of those news stories. The internet has gone crazy over the weekend. Twitter has gone crazy over the weekend with the news dropping. And it looks like it may be true that Starfield is going to be available on the PlayStation 5. And rumor is that Xbox is going to announce this here later this month. We're actually going to read through this story and then talk about it. Ready for this? Unpopular opinion among Xbox hardcore fans. I don't have a problem with this. What? That's right. I don't have a problem with this. I'm going to explain why. Let's go through the news story here. Then we're going to go through the pros and cons of this, where I see Xbox's position, where I see a hardcore Xbox gamer's position, why it may be confusing. And then I've got 3 questions to answer and go through on this. If you like this channel, if you like this format, we're just hanging out talking games, guys. We're just hanging out talking Xbox games. That's what we do on this channel, Monday through Friday. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and let's hang out, have fun together, enjoy gaming, and let's talk about how in 2024 and beyond, again, the next 5 years in gaming is going to look completely different than the past 5 years. Technology is changing everything, and we're living through it, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And make no mistake, this is a big move by Xbox. If this is true, it looks like it is. This is a big move. This could be the ball game on all fronts. This could succeed massively. This could fail massively. But I overall, I actually see where they're coming from, and I think it makes sense given their stated mission and their stated focus on Game Pass. But let's go through the news story first. Before you make a comment yelling at me why I'm wrong, let's go through the news for it. Let's go through the news story first. And let me explain my position here. So this is from Xbox Era, and this is kind of what's leading the charge here. Exclusive Microsoft plans Starfield launch for PlayStation 5 into the PlayStation field. And here's what it says. We're just going to read the highlighted parts because these are the most important parts. Now it looks as though Microsoft are planning on bringing Bethesda's newest RPG universe to an entirely new platform, PlayStation 5. Remember, this game has been out since October. Okay, let's just keep that in the back of your mind. On Xbox, exclusively on Xbox and PC, I guess, but exclusively on Xbox and Xbox Game Pass when it comes to consoles. According to sources, we understand that currently Microsoft are planning a launch for Starfield on PlayStation 5 post the release of the already announced Shattered Space expansion for Xbox and PC, which is on target to arrive at some point later this year. Now, it doesn't say that it's going to launch with Shattered Space. It says post the release of the Shattered Space. So you'll get all the expansions out and then coming to PlayStation 5. At least that's the way I read this. Let me know if you read this any differently. We've also been informed, they continue, that Microsoft have made additional investment into PlayStation 5 dev kits to support ongoing development efforts, adding further fuel to the fire. Going down, according to sources, Hi-Fi's Rush release on rival platforms is tentatively planned for Q1 this year. That was something that was also in the rumor mill. And we've been advised to expect Microsoft to make a more public announcement on this new strategy this month. What is that new strategy? This idea that Xbox exclusives are going to be available on rival consoles like the PlayStation 5, like the Nintendo Switch, stuff like that. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, wait a minute. Where's the motivation? Why do I want to own an Xbox? Why would I own an Xbox if I could just own a PlayStation and get Starfield, get the Hi-Fi Rushes? Keep in mind, in Hi-Fi Rush case, it's already been out on Xbox for over a year. So you do get it first. PlayStation 5 signs these kinds of temporary console exclusive contracts with third-party studios all the time, and it has had huge success with it, and I see no difference here in what Xbox is doing, except for this is with first-party titles. But why? Why would Microsoft do this? Well, before we get into why I think they're doing it and why I think, honestly, it makes sense, let's take a look at a poll that Jez Gordon dropped today. You all know I love Jez Gordon. I think he's a fantastic Xbox news guy here, editor-in-chief of Windows Central. Do you feel confident investing in the Xbox ecosystem right now? Yes, 23%. No, 58%. If you notice, by the way, that check mark, I said yes, 100%. Why would this news remove my confidence in investing in Xbox. I don't get that logic. Unsure, 17%. Let's read some of the comments. I don't care where they put their games. I already have a ton on my digital library. I'm more concerned that if they do ditch their console, did I just waste all my money? I think that's a valid question. I don't think they're ditching their console. Not at all. Think of this as a timed exclusive, everybody. And granted, and keep in mind, this is all speculative. We don't know for sure. We don't know details. We can make a for sure decision or more educated decision here in opinion after we know all the details. But at what we know right now, looks like a timed exclusive type of strategy to support Game Pass, in my opinion. And I don't have a problem with that at all. If Xbox completely gives up on exclusives and their one and only strategy is Game Pass, I'll probably go PC only next generation. PlayStation and Xbox games end up there anyway. If this happens, we have no real competition in the console space anymore, and that would be tragic. I think Club Xbox, I think that's actually a short-sighted viewpoint. Things are changing, guys. In fact, I was going to do a video on it. I saw, who was it? The OG God of War developer, I forget his name, was talking about the state of play from PlayStation. Look how quickly sentiment shifts in the Twitterverse, by the way. And he dropped us on his stream. He was like, guys, I don't see how PlayStation's going to compete with Xbox going forward here. After this state of play, after you see the $70 price tag and you look at the value proposition that is Game Pass, how has that changed? I actually think he's right. I think long-term, if you look at long-term play here, PlayStation's a little bit up against the wall, and this does not change any of that. It's a play for Game Pass. It's a play for Game Pass. Keep that in mind. Let's read one or two more comments here. Man, I got 1,000 games on Xbox. This is Jordy. Jordy the gamer. Hey, like X1 the gamer. I can't leave, so all that's going to happen is I'm going to have to buy 2 consoles, a PS6 and the next Xbox, just to access that library. Or there isn't an Xbox and PlayStation takes control of the market completely. I'm screwed. Why would we have confidence right now, says Reese? Anyway, they've essentially rug pulled the value of... They've not rug pulled the value, guys. The value of the Xbox Series X is still there. The value of the Xbox Series S is still there. Just because a year after Hi-Fi Rush is released, and remember, that was shadow dropped to Game Pass, and it's a fantastic game. Just because it's released a year later or is rumoring to be released a year later on the PlayStation 5, that means that you shouldn't have an Xbox? That means that it takes away the value of the Xbox? No, it doesn't. Not at all. I got a year head start. I got to enjoy this a year earlier. Guess what it does do? And I got to do it on Game Pass, i.e. free. We're going to use free in quotation marks. Not free. You pay for Game Pass, but I don't pay for the full price of the game. Guess what that game's going to be on PlayStation? Is it going to be free? No, it's going to be a full price game on PlayStation. Only helps Xbox. And it's another value proposition to get someone on a PlayStation, for instance, to say, well, yeah, I want to play this game, but why buy it on the PlayStation when I could just get the Game Pass? It's another way to make that value proposition argument, and I think it's a smart move. I really do. At least based on the information that I know right now. It's a big move, no doubt. And of course, Twitter's going to go crazy. It has gone crazy. It is going crazy. Xbox hardcore fans, many of them feel betrayed. Totally get that. But let's talk about why. When you look at the bigger picture, guys, I'm not surprised at this. This does not surprise me at all. And the reason is because you could see this coming, everybody. This is what when you talk about game shifting markets, when you talk about shifting the entire game in how we consume gaming, it's moves like this that are going to happen that leads to that shift in how we consume our games. Okay, so let's look at the gamers' oppositions first, right? I wrote down 2. The first is diluted exclusivity. Some Xbox gamers probably feel betrayed. They obviously feel betrayed right now, as the initial allure of Starfield was its exclusivity to Xbox, which was a selling point for the console for sure. However, now where I do have a problem with this is if, for instance, from now on, Xbox announces that its day one release on Game Pass and PlayStation. That's stupid. And that's not what they're going to do. Indeed, that's not what is happening here or playing out here. If it's a timed exclusive for a year and they start doing this with select games, like a Starfield, for instance, I have zero problem with that, guys. I don't. And you just saying, and I do think it is the foolishness of fanboy wars to say Xbox has betrayed me. Why? You have had the game exclusive for a year. So what? That it's not a lifetime exclusive. It will make Xbox more money, and It increases the value proposition of Game Pass. Mixed messaging. I think mixed messaging. So diluted exclusivity is con number one. The second con that I think gamers, Xbox hardcore gamers, have here is the mixed messaging. This I kind of agree with. There's a little bit is mixed messaging. However, you can't, as plans evolve, this plan may have been laid out from the beginning. You can't come out and say something like this at the beginning. There's timed messaging. I think it's timed messaging. I'm not so sure it's mixed messaging, although I see why it is interpreted as mixed messaging, right? So this move could be seen as Microsoft backtracking on their promises, potentially eroding trust among the core Xbox game fan base, or Xbox fan base rather. I think that's what this poll illustrates. Do you feel confident in investing in the ecosystem? I think this is hardcore Xbox gamers. First of all, this is also going to get trolled by a lot of PlayStation guys too, but hardcore Xbox gamers saying 58%, yeah, I don't trust the Xbox ecosystem now. Again, I think that's a little short-sighted. I'm just saying. You can disagree with that. I'm sure. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with that and why. Tell me why I'm wrong here. But now let me go through, before you do, let me go through and tell you why I think this is positive. There's two pros here from Xbox's position, and this is where I think the strategy is, and I think it's the correct strategy. It expands the audience for Xbox. Making Starfield available on the PlayStation 5 increases the game's market. Remember, you're going to have to pay that full $70 price tag on the PlayStation. Or, guys, guess what? You can come to Game Pass. You can subscribe to Game Pass, and you don't have to pay that same price. So why go ahead? But does Xbox care if you pay $70 on the PlayStation? No, they're still recouping those dollars. It's a win-win for Xbox. Makes complete sense to me. Revenue boost, which ties into this next point. Why it's a win-win is the revenue boost, right? Sales from the PlayStation platform can significantly increase overall revenue from the game. And indeed, all of their games and their game library, if this is the path forward. I do not think we're going to see an instance where day one, let's pretend that Microsoft comes out and says, yes, all of our first party games. I don't think this is going to happen, but let's just pretend. All of our first party games will be limited timed releases on the Xbox console. And then 1 or 2 years later, we'll release them to select consoles, or we'll release select first-party titles to games. Does anybody have a problem with that? I don't. And the reason they do it is to encourage Game Pass value. And I think it's really smart. I think it's a huge move. I think it's a swing for the fence kind of move. And Xbox, let's be honest, Xbox could strike out here. I don't think they're going to. I totally see where they're coming from. They're all about Game Pass, everybody. We've known they've been all about Game Pass. When Xbox says Game Pass is the future, this is what that looks like, everybody. Anything you can do to make that value proposition even greater only strengthens the position of Game Pass, strengthens Xbox's position long term. I think if you feel betrayed by Xbox right now, I don't blame you, not at all. But I think it's because we're stuck in the past, and gaming is changing forever, and this is a part of that change. Microsoft is leading the way. I think this is another one of those moves that leads the way. And you might say to yourself, "Well, you're just an Xbox fanboy. Anything they do." Excuse me, anything they do, they can do no wrong. Look at you. You're just all in on them. No, not at all. I went back and forth on this. I looked at everything that everyone was saying, and I can't help but say to myself, this makes sense. This is exactly what I've been saying. They're all in on Game Pass. I understand why they would do this. It makes sense to me. I don't feel betrayed. I'm not an Xbox gamer that feels betrayed. It's been out for, in the case of Hi-Fi Rush, and I think it's going to be the case of Starfield, it's been out for at least a year, exclusive. Boom. PlayStation has had huge success with that kind of business model. Huge success. So what, a game comes out 1 or 2 years later on the Xbox. Oh, well, this is a PlayStation game. It's already been on PlayStation. We've already had it. I don't know. I think the outrage is a little bit, I just think it's short-sighted. I think it's short-sighted. Let's go over some questions here. What does Starfield's launch on PS5 mean for the future of console exclusivity? I don't think console exclusivity is going away anytime soon in the absolute. No, I think that this is a strategic timed exclusivity strategy to further increase the value of Game Pass. You might say to yourself, well, how does this increase the value of Game Pass when I can buy it on any other console. Yes, you can pay full price on other consoles. And in that case, it's a win-win for Xbox. It's a win-win. And it further subsidizes Game Pass going forward. I just don't see... I get why it's controversial. I just think it makes sense. I understand why they're doing this. Does this decision dilute the Xbox brand? I don't think it dilutes the Xbox brand. I think the Xbox brand is changing. The Xbox brand is the Game Pass brand. I think that's the reality. I think that's the reality going forward. Here's the thing, everybody. Once again, PlayStation, forget this is a weekend. News is going off and everybody gets hot takes in right away. Nothing's changed here. PlayStation is still freaking out about Xbox and this path forward. PlayStation guys are still freaking out about this. They may be momentarily celebrating because they think, oh, Xbox is going third party. No, they're not. They're not going third party at all. This is strategic, and it's a smart strategic move, I think. I think it's really smart. So I don't think, the question was, does this decision dilute the Xbox brand? I don't think it dilutes the Xbox brand at all. I think it's the Xbox brand is evolving, and it's evolving to Game Pass. Last question here. Could this decision impact the loyalty of Xbox's hardcore fan base? Oh, absolutely it could. Here's the thing. It has to succeed. If it doesn't succeed, then it hurts you, obviously. And it hurts you with your hardcore fan base, obviously. This is all just rumors. You got to wait until the actual explanation comes out. But if you think about it logically, I think it makes sense. I genuinely do. I think this is the shift in gaming that we're seeing. I think Xbox continues to push the envelope here. This is another example of that. And I genuinely don't have a problem with this. I think it's smart strategically. But I know right now that there are a lot of you that disagree with me just based off of the stuff that I'm seeing on Twitter. I would like to know, where am I wrong? Let me know in the comments below. If you do agree with me, let me know there too. Hit the like button either way, but let me know. I would love to start a discussion on this. I'll do some follow-up videos on this as we get more news. Excuse me. But I saw this and I've tossed it around for hours before making this video, thinking about it, does it make sense? Where does this lie? And I have come up based off of what we know right now. This could change if when they make an announcement, things are different than what I'm thinking. My opinion here could change. As of right now, I think it's a smart strategic move. I think it, once again, just to recap, I think it underscores the Game Pass value. I think it's a win-win for Xbox and Microsoft. I get why it's controversial. It's anytime you shake up an industry, the moves are going to be controversial. But I think in the long term, just based off the limited knowledge I have right now, I can see this long-term strategy. And I don't think this changes the current position at all for either PlayStation or Xbox. In fact, I think it actually strengthens Xbox's position in the long term. I really do. Anyways, love hanging out with you guys. What a way to start the week, huh? Oh man, 2024 gaming news has been off the charts. We are at the dawn of the golden age of gaming. I've said that before. I'll say it again. This is a part of that. I could not be more excited. I love it. I love hanging out with you guys every single day. Let me know again what you think. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.